Hey, everybody, we're here now at the knockout phase of the World Cup. Wednesday, the USA is in action against Bosnia-Herzegovina up in Santa Clara, San Francisco Bay Area, if you will. I'm Bruce Marshall. We're going to talk about that matchup in just a second. First of all, though, a couple of quick housekeeping reminders. As always, don't forget, click that subscribe button on your screen there. Make sure you get all of our Wager Talk TV videos. Also, don't forget special offers going now, including my special World Cup All Access Pass. We've reduced the price to $99 for the rest of the tournament. That'll get you all of my picks, including Wednesday's picks, and all the way through the final on July 19th at the Meadowlands in New Jersey. Remember, my All Access World Cup pack, reduced price down to $99. Okay, let's talk about this matchup on Wednesday night or late Wednesday afternoon. Kickoff time will be 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. At the 49ers Stadium, which they're calling San Francisco Bay Area Stadium for the World Cup, but we know it as Levi Stadium, and it is actually in Santa Clara. Whatever, U.S. has played here before, and they are obviously a home edge in this matchup against Bosnia-Herzegovina. And as mentioned, Wednesday kickoff time, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. The crawl at the bottom of the screen tells you the prices here in the USA is a favorite as it looks for its first knockout round win in the World Cup since 2002. It was the round of 16 that year, and it was a 2-0 win over Mexico in the World Cup over there in Asia for Bruce Arena's team. We'll talk about that team in just a second. Prices here, the U.S. pretty prohibitively favored, which they were not, definitely not back in 2002 at this stage. As you can see on the crawl there, a pretty heavy favorite on the three-way there, minus 239. On the three-way, Bosnia-Herzegovina up there plus 600, the draw plus 400. The total at 2.5, priced a little bit to the over there, and some other props there, including the spread and the Asian line and some correct scores and goal scores there. It's all crawling across the bottom of the screen now. We'll get to some of those in a second. What do we know about this matchup, and what do we know about Bosnia-Herzegovina? Did fight their way into the field here. They got third place in their group. They had to take out Qatar, and they did that rather comfortably in their last match, or put up a great fight in Toronto in the opener against Canada, and really withstood a lot of pressure from the Canadians, made an early goal from a corner kick stand up until late in the contest when Canada leveled. That was a good result for Bosnia-Herzegovina. The second matchup against Switzerland down in LA in Inglewood was not. It was a closer match than that 4-1 final scoreline would indicate, though, as Switzerland put on goals late to extend the margin, put Bosnia in some trouble, but they did find some reserves, and came out ahead of Qatar to get them to 4 points and into the field, just barely into the knockout field, but they are here. Let's go back to qualifiers in Europe there, and they just barely missed out on automatic qualification from their group. A late goal in the match against Austria forced them to go the playoff route, and they were not expected to get through. The first match against Wales in Cardiff, they were an underdog there, and trailing much of the way until the veteran Edin Dzeko, we'll talk about him more in a second, scored in the 86th minute, forced that thing into extra time and then to penalty kicks, where Bosnia-Herzegovina won. And also against Italy then, this is the final playoff matchup, winner to the World Cup, and down for much of the second half until scoring a goal in the 79th minute. And then we get into extra time and penalty kicks again. And as a big underdog again, Bosnia-Herzegovina advances on penalty kicks. So this team has looked into the abyss and pulled itself out a couple of times. Very resilient. I mentioned Edin Dzeko there. At one point, he was one of the top players in Europe, if not the whole world, and he's still very effective. He's 40 years old now. He moved in the transfer window from Italy over to Schalke, which is in the second division, Bundesliga 2 in Germany, helped them get promoted. So he did very well at Schalke. He was involved in the last Bosnia-Herzegovina World Cup adventure, which was back in 2014 down in Brazil, and a controversial loss against Nigeria kept them out of the knockout phase that year. It was a Dzeko goal that was overruled. Anyway, it's a side, and watch the young 18-year-old. They're very high on him. Karim Alibegovic. He's one of the guys in the in the Red Bull stable. They've got him at Salzburg right now, just 18 years old. He scored in the Qatar match. They have high hopes for him, but this is still pretty much Seko's team. But I would expect them to probably fall back into a low block against the Americans. I don't think they're going to be able to go up and down the field with the USA. The longer they can keep this game at 0-0, and I think this is their kind of Bosnia's strategy in the game. And a lot of people we talk to think this is what they'll probably try to do, and they would love this thing to get all the way through 120 minutes into penalty kicks. That's asking a lot, but that might be their best chance to get through, and I think they'll approach this game in that manner. Now, how about the USA? I mentioned a moment ago about Bruce Arena's team back in 2002, and I think I've got to go back and maybe reassess what I said about the USA before the tournament. I was a little bit down on Mauricio Pochettino. I thought the team just looked a little bit too frail at the back. And that was from, and in comparison really to Arena's team in 2002, which was very difficult to play through. And they sat up in a low mid block, played on the counter, very pragmatic style. But Arena did what he had to do with the players he had available to him in 2002. There weren't a lot of real attacking options that he had, but he had some solid players, Tony Sena and others. They could play defense pretty well. They were very tough to play through. He did what he had to do to get USA as far as it did that year, and the ceiling was at the quarterfinals. So this is a different team, though. And Pochettino's, he doesn't have players like Arena had. This is a different sort of team that couldn't really play, I think, in that manner. They have to play a high press. They're very aggressive. You've got a lot of attacking options, and guys like Pulisic and McKennie and Balogun are now playing internationally. They play in Europe, and they're very effective over in their club sides in Europe. So they've got more attacking options on this team right now. And this high press, very aggressive style that worked so well for the U.S. in the Paraguay and Australia matches, especially in the first half, I think directly resulted in those own goals that got USA off to those quick leads in both of those matches. But that fits the style of what Pochettino's players can do best. So he's just coaching to their styles. And I would discount the Turkey match. That was a reserve side that Pochettino put on the field. It was sort of like an NFL Week 18 regular season game for a team that's already qualified for the playoffs. Don't be too concerned about that. The first two matches, I think, were more indicative of the way Pochettino wants them to play. Now, we have not seen a team, Paraguay and Australia were kind of made for the USA to go at them like that and to make USA look good, because they were not that comfortable on the ball, moving through midfield and into attack. When you put both of those teams behind, especially Paraguay, everything changed for them there, and they were out of their comfort zone, and the USA did what it had to do in those games. I don't know later in the tournament if Pochettino can play that style against some of these other teams, better teams that have more accomplished midfields, more accomplished offenses, and can keep possession and keep the ball away from the U.S. in upcoming rounds. Also, I'm still not sure about the USA goaltender situation. I know Matt Freese looked okay in the first two matches. Matt Turner did not in the Turkey game. I just think that means Turner's not going to play anymore. It's going to be Freese all the way. But Freese even wasn't that tested in the first two games. As the tournament wears on, he'll be tested more. But Bosnia-Herzegovina, I don't think is going to challenge USA the way teams in the later rounds might. So I think Pochettino can play that high press. He can look to identify the overloads, forcing the turnovers, and it's going to be up to Bosnia-Herzegovina to hang in there for as long as it can, which I think it will for a while. But eventually, Pulisic, Balogun, and Pulisic looked pretty good coming in off the injury in the second half of the Turkey match. And the rest of the attacking forces on the U.S. side, and they've got everybody back now who were on the yellow cards in the Turkey match, and that's all wiped out, all the yellow cards here. So I think this Pochettino can apply his style that he likes. USA wins this; they can stay on the West Coast all the way to the semifinals. I don't think that's that far-fetched. It'll be a little bit of a long shot, but if they win this game in San Francisco, they come back. They go up to Seattle for the next matchup, and if they get to the quarterfinals, that's back in LA. What's going to happen here? I think it's going to take a while for the USA to get control of this game, because I think Bosnia is going to be very resilient, but eventually And I think we'll see a scoreline kind of like Mexico on Tuesday night against Ecuador. Although Mexico jumped on Ecuador kind of early, I think it might take the USA a little bit longer to get going here. But Bosnia and Herzegovina, I just don't see them moving upfield very easily and taking the initiative here. Eventually, something's going to happen good for the USA in this game. It'll take a while, but I think they'll get there. My recommendations, I would actually look at the Asian line here. Now, I look at the spread, too. If you can't access the Asian line, fine, lay a goal and a half. I think a 2-0 score. That's what I'm kind of thinking this game is going to be like. If you go on the Asian line, at least, you split the bet is split between -1 and 1.5 goals. If USA wins by 1, you only lose half the bet as opposed to losing the full bet if you went on the full spread at 1.5. So I might look on the Asian line. I might look under 2. Like I said, I don't see Bosnia or Herzegovina threatening too much. It'll be teams later in the tournament threatening the USA and testing that defense that I think still needs to prove itself. But we may not find out as much about that here. Under might be a thought too. And I like the way Pulisic looked. He's hungry for goals. It could be Balogun or him scoring, but I think Pulisic gets one here, so I might look at a correct score for Pulisic as well. We'll see what happens as the USA looks to advance into the round of 16, if it can get by this one on a Wednesday night up in the Bay Area. We will see. Okay, don't forget, as always, comment box on the screen. Let me know what you're thinking. I'd love to hear from you. And don't forget my special World Cup All Access Pass reduced to $99. That's all my picks the rest of the way through the final on July 19th at the Meadowlands. So until next time, talking more World Cup, it's a goodbye from me.